Burns, yeah.
Kenzie. I haven't seen him in ages.
Yeah. And Real Hope. Welcome to Late Night Take 3. I'm here with Rachel. Rachel, how's it going?
Oh, it's just another day in the life of quarantine. Like, I stopped counting or keeping track of anything. I legit have to keep like reminding myself what day it is. I think Brandon's yelled at me like 3 times in one day. He's like, "It's Thursday." I'm like, "Oh, I have a show tonight." Or, "Oh, it's Friday." "Oh, okay, I don't have a show." Like, it's been ridiculous, but I'm good. How
Yeah,
are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's one of those ones like able to go out and do stuff at the moment. I'm not trying to brag either, but it's just one of those ones that we've got someone who in charge who knows what they're doing and knows how to handle things. So,
Brag about it, why don't you?
but yeah, but unfortunately. We do have to start off on a sad note because, as I
You
shocked
know what?
Rachel, yeah,
Not a sad note. He lived a good life. We are paying homage and respect and celebrating his life. No sadness, all joy.
that that's a good way to put it. But sadly, um, we today like it's been reported that it is Parkinson's that got him, but he died peacefully and like Rachel, what are your feelings on this?
I mean, so you told me earlier, like when I joined into the feed before we started and went live, and I had no idea that he had passed. So I like looked him up real quick, to see like how he died, and just read a few of the like scan over some obituaries, and like apparently he was a bit of a Lothario in his 70s. So like, good on you, buddy. Like the man lived. He played a massively iconic character. He's recognized the world over. It's Ian, what was his name? Ian
Home.
Holm. He played Bilbo Baggins. Sorry, I see Ferris was like, who? Um so Bilbo sadly has passed. I mean, he handed the ring off and now he has journeyed on. So we wish him and his friends and family, like, we send them love, and it's sad that he died, but he had such a great life. So like, good, like that's all you can ask of anybody, you know, to like leave a legacy behind and like be beloved throughout the world. So I mean, sad to see you go, Ian, but you kicked the can in a great way. Like,
Yeah, it's one of those ones I know. A lot of times in my when I've been doing movie trivia on in the fan leagues, I've always for some reason thought Ian Holm was the one that played Ollivander, which I later found out was Ian Hart. But I always seem to make that mistake just because they've got really similar names. Just
and
like
they're British and white men and they're interchangeable. Yeah, totally.
but yeah, I mean, like Ian Holm is just one of those ones that I've only really known him from Lord of the Rings. I've not. I don't think I've seen a lot of his other stuff. Like I've still got to watch the Alien series, which I do
Oh
plan
yeah.
on getting. I do plan on getting to at some stage. If they would ever stream or somewhere in New Zealand, I could watch them. um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not here that should be. But and as Garth said, he will forever be Ash and Alien. But
Yeah. I mean, I loved him as the priest in Fifth Element. Like he was just so bumbly and just like scared and just sweet. And I mean, I think that's why I loved Bilbo, but like the character of Bilbo so much. Cause like, I know, big, big faux pas. I never read the books. Um,
yeah,
I never had the chance to read them. And even now I'm just kind of like, I saw the movies. It's fine. But I love them because of that character that he played with the Fifth Element as the priest, and it was just he just played a really sweet man in like everything.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's one of those. He's just one of those charismatic guys who would just pop up. Like he may not always be a major character, but quite often he's an integral character to the plot. Like, um,
Mhm.
and it's just one of those ones. But there's a couple other news stories I'm going to sort of bring up before we get into our main topic. But it came out this week that Ewan McGregor is going to be voicing Jiminy Cricket in Del Toro's Pinocchio, which I did not even know Guillermo del Toro was doing a version of Pinocchio. But
Weren't there rumors of that like 6 years ago? Like I could swear that like I remember hearing, Campia and Harloff and Ellis talk about it on like AMC Popcorn Talk. Like it just seems like one of those things that's just been kicked around for so long, and now like studios are kind of like, well, we need to start making movies again. Remember that thing we talked about a decade ago? Like it just feels like one of those. I mean, I would love to see Guillermo del Toro's Monstro. Oh, I think it would be so good. And I think that Pleasure Island is just going to be so twisted and weird and just grotesque. Oh, the boys turning into donkeys is just going to be like, you're going to have to cover your kids' eyes. I'm so excited for that. But Ewan McGregor as Jiminy Cricket? Okay. I mean, he kind of plays that same character, as Obi-Wan. So, like, why not make him a cricket and take away his lightsaber? Like, same guy.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those castings that are interesting. Like, I've lost track of which Pinocchio is which, because I think I've read about 3 different Pinocchio movies in the works that are due to come out later down the track. It's like I do not know what's happening, but I think eventually we're going to get another version of Pinocchio. It just depends on where it comes from. But anyway, the other one that I did see today, which actually I don't quite see, but this person has been coming up a lot in movies and done good. Apparently, Kristen Stewart is playing Princess Diana in a movie called Spencer.
Yeah. First of all, fuck you for using the term spinster. Not you, but spinster. Like how like they use that term is used to describe an unmarried woman over a certain age, as if she can't be like desirable or literally living her best life as a single woman. But I think Kristen Stewart's an interesting casting choice for this. I really would have loved to have seen Sophie Turner as Diana. I think that she would have done an incredible job. Hey, Kernsey.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. Like, I am personally like the only movie that I'm really a big fan of Kristen Stewart playing a role in is The Runaways. So it'll be interesting to see if she can project the poise and grace that Diane had, because she was just so regal, like without having royal blood or being raised in that environment, she was just she floated. She was a gift. She was wonderful and lovely, and I like barely remember her because like she passed in what, like 92, somewhere around there.
97.
No, would have been 97.
Yeah,
Or somewhere around before 98. And the only reason I know that is because of The Death of Superman Lives What Happened. Because
movie release dates obviously are not my strength.
The second writer, after Kevin Smith, talked about when Princess Diana died and her funeral was happening, Tim Burton called him up and said, jot down everything you see happening, because this is what we're going to do for Superman's funeral.
Yeah. I mean, they were, it was a big deal, and she was lovely. So it'll be interesting to see if she can if she has that ability to kind of play that regal and warm character that Diana was. So
yeah. Also, Matt, I've already touched on Enholm, but I thought I'd throw it to you to sort of so you can talk about him. What do you anything about Enholm that you want to say?
Yeah, Ian Holm. It sucks when everyone passes away. Of course, he was great in Alien. One of the most creepy scenes is when it's just like his screwed up head talking to Ripley. I love him in Fifth Element. I'm not sure if anyone talked about that yet, but he's great. Him and Chris Tucker have some great moments together. Yeah, it's sad.
It's sad, but he also I don't know if you know, but I did a little bit of research before we started, and he He was married 4 times. He was like what did the person call him? It said that he was they called him a Lothario, but he was like had a string of like extramarital affairs, like in his 70s, left 5 kids, is survived by 5 kids and 4 wives, like, but he lived. Like he had a life.
He was in The Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah. And Ratatouille. And The Big
Oh my
Night,
God.
Aviator, Lord of War.
No, I'm just saying, The Day After Tomorrow, guys. Dennis Quaid. That's an underappreciated disaster film. I just wanted to say that. And he's in it, though. So,
Yes.
Yeah. It's one of those ones I didn't realize myself after sort of looking into it. But
I'm so shocked. It wasn't like a national. You guys didn't like have your flags at half mast or something on Mount Doom today, Malcolm?
I mean, who said that we don't?
I just assume anytime a Lord of the Rings actor passes away, your entire country just shuts down. It becomes a bank holiday.
Everybody goes out to the dunes and just hangs out
Look
and
at me
smokes
just
some weed.
pissing on Ian Holmes' death, a man who did nothing to me. And I'm just making a farce out of his life.
But anyway, let's time to move on to the main topic. Matt just coming in doing Matt stuff. But yeah,
as I normally do.
which is
I don't get
always
to talk
a bad
about
thing.
Kristen Stewart talking
Um,
about playing Princess Diane, or as
What
I
are you
like to
looking at?
call it, what are people in Hollywood huffing lately? And can I have some? Because like Kristen Stewart as Princess Di, the person
Yeah.
who Elton John wrote a song about, performed at her funeral, and has never played since. Yeah, Kristen Stewart played that. Now look, I think Kristen Stewart is a great actress. Her greatest role will forever be Catch That Kid, obviously. But
Actually, I just remembered she was great in Zathura.
I was going to say that too. I love Zathura. That is an underappreciated Jon Favreau film. Kids, go and check it
100%.
out. It's really, if you like Jumanji, go watch it. Dax Shepard is also really good in that movie.
He's great in everything.
Yeah, but she's like one of the last, like when I think someone played Princess Di, I think like an Anne Hathaway type, like someone who's not Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart.
And it's nothing against Kristen Stewart, but she's just like weird, and she does not like. I don't know, man. What is it?
I mean, I said Sophie Turner was my pick to play Princess Di. She would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's one of those things that if Kristen Stewart doesn't do a good job, her career is over, or it should be. Like you can't,
because her blockbuster career is kind of going to shit lately. No one really saw Charlie's Angels. Anyone remember that water movie she was in? No one saw that one either. So her Oscar run movie, which is what I assume this movie's going to be, fails. I think Kristen Stewart's going to go bye-bye. But I mean, she's an
indie darling at best.
Well off. She's well off from all those Twilight films, so she'll be fine, everybody. But this is just the truth.
But yeah, the last person I remember playing Princess Diana was Naomi Watts in Diana, which, from what I've heard, is not a good movie. But yeah, that's last time
Yeah.
Naomi Watts is a good choice, though. That's certainly a good choice.
At the time, yes, she couldn't play. Like, Sophie Turner can play her at 19 and at, what was she, like 36 when she died? So Sophie can play that entire range. Like, Naomi Watts can't play Diana at,
sure. You can
19.
Play her.
Like, yeah, you can play her, like, at the end. But, like...
Exactly. And I think the other one about Kristen Stewart is I don't think we've seen her do a British accent before. Because I actually had to look at this before, and that could
also there are so many great like British actresses. Why did we go to an American? Like there are
Oh,
an insane amount of good actresses who are in the correct age range that they could play that role. Why would you cast an American? Also, like, because for as much as like Americans might love Princess Di, fucking I've been to England. They
Mhm.
still have in the subways posters of Princess Diana. Okay? She's like what Kurt Russell should be to America, she is to England.
you are going to die on that hill, I swear.
I will.
I mean, I love him.
Gladly.
You know who would have been a great choice for a British actress is Ivana Lynch, who played Luna Lovegood.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like she would have been
Okay.
amazing. She has that very like quiet, demure face, but you know, she gets riled up as Diana used to. I think she would be fantastic.
Um, also, Matt, do you have any thoughts about Ewan McGregor playing Jiminy Cricket in Del Toro's Pinocchio?
The fuck are they doing out there? But I love you, McGregor. Odds are he's gonna be just the voice. Which okay. Ewan McGregor's been making some really interesting choices recently. Birds of Prey, he was my favorite part of Birds of Prey. We can talk about the rest of the movie as a something
Careful.
else. But he was good. He also got the mullet, the Attack of the Clones mullet back. I was very happy about that. I thought he was fine in Beauty and the Beast, and that's the only comparative thing I have to his voice acting, except for that War Pigeon Messenger movie from the early 2000s. He was
Oh
in
my
Valiant.
Disney.
God.
Yeah, that was it. See, this is shit I remember. But call me out, Parloff. But
I mean, they do need a manager. I'm just saying.
oh yeah, that's right. It's all on Twitch now anyway. There's no reason to not hire me.
Right?
God, I missed my point. Yeah, but I like Ewan McGregor, so he's really getting typecasted in his older age of just playing Disney characters.
Yeah, but he's
Lumiere,
I said
Jiminy Cricket,
he's
Christopher
playing
Robin.
he's playing the same character. He's just playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like it's just the voice of your conscience with a lightsaber or with cricket wings, or you know, like it's the same like Lumiere gives advice.
okay with
Sure,
that.
he
I'm fine with that.
yeah,
That's
it's fine.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Like if the voice of my conscience was Ewan McGregor, I actually might listen to it.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I'd
Now,
make him
now,
explain everything in acute detail, but you know.
now I want to see someone Photoshop a lightsaber onto Jiminy Cricket and just show him.
Well, he's got you. It's pretty easy. He already is holding the umbrellas, so just add a lightsaber to the
Yeah.
top of it. Not that hard.
That'd be amazing.
He does have to be more serious. The only version of Pinocchio I've ever really seen is the Disney one. And Jamie Cricket does have a very like soft, calming voice, which I think Hugh McGregor it's gonna sound really weird, but he has a really good like parental reading voice. That's what I've always felt when you hear him in interviews. Like he has a really good like
He's got a dad voice.
He's got a dad voice, but in like a good way of like I would sit there and listen to you tell a story to me, which is kind of who Jiminy Cricket should be, because Jiminy Cricket is, you know, just a sweet character who's literally just there trying to prevent Pinocchio from doing wrong. So
He needs to record him reading Aesop's Fables books on tape, because I think that kids might actually listen.
He should just start doing books on tape, honestly. He should be doing Star Wars novelizations.
He
should do Master and Apprentice. The book they released last year where it's Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. They should have him do it. Come on.
Hey,
he's
Disney.
Still in quarantine. He's not doing shit. Get him to just read a book with a microphone.
Right.
But yeah, and I mean, I'm like last time other people have done it, I think it's been a success because I mean, you've got the Wizarding World stars reading Harry Potter.
Who's doing this movie again?
Guillermo.
Oh, okay. So Michael Shannon is going to be in it somewhere, and I'm totally
he'll probably be the guy at Pleasure Island.
Yeah, I was going to say, because just have him just scream. That's what he did in Shape of Water, and I was totally okay with that. I
Yeah,
actually
oh.
really like him in Shape of Water.
That finger.
Ugh,
Like I could
oh,
smell
God.
that finger. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
so
But
gross.
yeah, so he'll be in there somewhere, which I'm okay with. I just was thinking that. I was like, Del Toro. Okay, yeah. Who's Michael Chang gonna play?
You'd be a great guy to play the I can't remember his name offhand. But let's see what it is.
Who's playing Geppetto?
Yeah,
Oh. I don't know. Hold on, let's see.
Or has that not been cast yet? Hi guys, forget about Community. We're just trying to talk about what we think the casting of Del Toro's Pinocchio will be.
I'm not seeing much.
Wesley Snipes should have a role in it somewhere. I don't care.
He could play Good John. That would be funny.
What I've found.
Can he be Geppetto?
It's David Bradley, apparently.
Wow.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
It should be
Ron
Wesley
Perlman's
Snipes,
going to be Magnifico. Tilda Swinton's going to be the fairy with the turquoise hair, which I'm pretty sure is the Blue Fairy.
Yeah.
And Christoph Waltz is the fox and the cat.
He's Good John. Oh my god, I'm so excited. That's fantastic casting. I'm excited now.
She wasn't before, but now.
I mean, now it's like flushing out because like I have my ideas in my head, but like, ooh, that's really good. I like that.
Wesley Snipes in it somewhere. He can even just see Simon Phoenix again. He can just be like, "Oh shit! When have I played the accordion to Pinocchio? You should be Pinocchio."
Oh my god! Please don't do that.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate up to Geppetto.
But
hey Geppetto, what is taxes?
But anyway, we are going to go into the main topic now. But there was a fun discussion about Pinocchio, though. I'm not getting hot.
We can keep going.
I mean, we could, but
Dreamcast.
not really. But we're going to move on to Community. The reason I kind of thought about doing this is because
me and Malcolm had a fight on Facebook about season 6 like 2 weeks ago.
Well, what? No, it's more of a case of I knew Matt had finally seen it, but the other reason is like very recently, Community had a reunion where they did their table reading of one of the episodes with guest Pedro Pascal filling in for Walton Goggins, which was really fun. But yeah, Rachel, how did you sort of get into Community?
I like to binge because of my past like almost 2 decades of touring. It was just easier, and like I have no patience. So it was very much easier for me to binge, wait for it to be on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and just like sit there and be able to watch as many episodes as I want for however long I could. And then, so I waited, and then about 2 months ago, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, Alex was like, "Hey, we're going to start watching Community. Do you want to watch with us?" And I was like, yeah, I have never seen it. And so like Brandon and Alex and I binged Community together. And then like I would have to do my show, so they would keep watching, and then I would watch the episodes that I missed with them like that night. And we all sat together. We sat down for the last 2 episodes to watch those together, and it was very sweet. I love the show. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I came into Community late myself. I think it was about the 4th season, and that like I first heard about it, and so I decided to do the same thing, like binge every episode sort of up to that season. Then from there I started watching more regularly. From then, it's one of those ones that shows which is so random. It's kind of like a live action Rick and Morty or Family Guy esque in a way, because like every episode is kind of a parody of something, and it's just something that kind of spoke to what I like in my comedies. And it's just one. Matt, how did you sort of get into Community?
It came on Netflix, and honestly, I'm not even sure the reason why I started to watch it. Like, I knew it was on Netflix, and people were like tweeting about it a lot because like it was on Netflix, and finally a lot of people who don't believe in physical medium were able to watch it. And so I think it was just I think it was just I just decided, all right, everyone's talking about it. I guess I should just watch the first episode just to see what it's about. And I had known the show through mainly memes, like the fire meme where Donald Glover walks in, everything's on fire, stuff like that. Like I had known the show from memes, but I never actually sat down and watched it, and it was just really good. I liked the first episode, and I just kind of just ran through the series pretty fast, faster than I normally do for a show. But it was just it was a ton of fun. We can talk about season 6 and my feelings on it. I'm sure we will. But the first 4 seasons were streets ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love how meta this show was.
True, falsa, or none of the above. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's just it's so self-aware in so many weird ways. But yeah, like the fact that during this final episode they mentioned something was it they're counting 1, 2, 3 and then they fart and they're like, that's a joke. And I was like, oh my god, because it's the gas. Like I was dying. They're so like tongue in cheek and just like there's so many Easter eggs for like the really hardcore fans or for the people who binged it, like 24/7 like we did apparently.
Well, that was the thing, and I even made a tweet about it. Was like, it's a really awesome show because like it has great continuity to itself to where like it will take the advantage to make a joke that's in reference to an episode that was like 10 episodes ago, which I love because I like when shows like we talked about in the Parks and Rec episode. I like after the hunting episode when Ron gets shot in the back of the head. The episode afterwards, you can still see in the back of his head, he's still growing his hair back. Like I just kind of like when shows feel like they're actually happening, like very close to one another. Like it doesn't feel like they're that far away. But yeah, that's definitely something I enjoyed.
Oh yeah, I mean, Community's been just one of those ones that sometimes things happen that you kind of don't understand. Like I know we had a big discussion about season 6 just randomly getting rid of Buzz.
Why? Why'd you do that? I liked him.
And I mean, it's one of those ones like he was a good character. Just they don't mention sort of where he went and what happened to him.
Wait, which character?
Buzz
Hickey, the criminology
cop who was
professor.
the teacher he shared the office with Jeff.
Oh,
he's in
right.
season 5.
Yeah.
And they just don't mention him. And they invest a lot of time into his character. He was our cartoonist. His relationship with his son got an entire episode to do it. And then season 6, there's not even a line about like, he died or he retired or something.
There was no reference at all.
Yeah, I mean, I started reading into it. Apparently, there was an episode in season 6 where I think it was the hacking episode, which you saw a screenshot of the computer with hacked emails. Apparently, there was an email there which had the subject line Buzz Hickey's memorial service, but whatever that means, whether he died was a kind of retirement memorial or something. I don't know, but
Malcolm, I'm gonna say died. I don't think I've ever heard of a retirement ceremony referred to as a memorial. Then again, Greendale, of all places, I would actually believe they would figure that out.
Now, is it just me, or did they wait until like season 4 to like let you know that they were in Colorado? Like they waited so long to tell you where they were, because I was like, oh, Greendale, it's Glendale. It's literally the city I live in. There's a Glendale Community College. Like that makes sense because the writers are here in LA. So like I thought that it was just like a tongue-in-cheek poke about Glendale, and then they're like, oh, we're in Colorado. I'm like, wait. What?
Yeah, it's a while before you find out where they actually are.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, how did they
Great.
not have like 30 different pot episodes then? Like, come on. Like
Yeah.
how are they not slipping Annie like CBD oil in her coffee because she's so like
Yeah, and as Brian mentioned in the chat, like in season 5, they didn't mention that Professor Duncan would return. He just returns. And I mean, I do love Professor Duncan though. Like John Oliver's just great in general. But as I've done every other time we've done a TV show thing, I've got something fun we're going to do.
Oh dear Lord. By the way, I just
And
got to
it's a
say now,
bracket.
before we start this, I started saying it from like the end of season 1 until the last episode. I will forever now ship Jeff and Annie. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care.
I mean, I love Joel McHale.
Oh yeah. Also, a
And
fistful of paintballs might be one of the greatest episodes of TV I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
It's also a little creepy because he looks very similar to one like my only older male cousin, and it's like finding Jeff Winger attractive. I'm like, this is weird for me.
Ew.
Yeah, but Joel McHale is like Joel McHale is across the board a stud. Like everyone can agree on that one.
But yeah, as I've done
Sure.
every other time we've done a episode based on TV
I'm not
shows,
denying these things.
I've done a bracket to come up who we for the characters.
Mm.
And as the way I've disturbed the seedings, I went on IMDb and sort of
IMDb,
did it in the order of the most episodes to least. There was some characters I took off just to get in a couple others that would have been out of it otherwise that I think deserved to be here. But yeah, and Buzz Hickey was one of them, and this is the first matchup. We've got Jeff versus Buzz. Rachel, who's your favorite character out of these two?
Oh man, I mean, how do you not pick Jeff Winger over it? Even though like I'm pretty sure that Buzz Hickey is like my soul's like mate, like who doesn't love a surly whiskey bourbon drinking law professor, whatever he was like. He's great and he's wonderful. But
so
you
now
have
we
to
know
pick
what
up.
Rachel's Tinder profile bio is.
If I had
Seeking
one,
scotch drinking old whatever that was.
I'm sorry, Matt. Did we just meet? Like, of course, that's my.
This is new blonde Rachel.
This is new blonde Rachel. Same dead, cold black heart, though.
But Matt, who's your favorite character out of these two?
Jeff is my favorite character out of the show. So, and I like Buzz, as I said before. I really do
love
like
Buzz, but it's Jeff,
yeah, but it's Jeff Winger.
But yeah, it's easily Jeff as well. This one was one that I thought was like, yeah, this is obvious. It was gonna go, but yeah. So wait, next up we've got Troy Barnes versus Pierce Hawthorne.
Oh,
that's so hard.
No.
I'm sorry, Matt, but I'm going to you first.
Oh man, that is really tough because I love both of these characters for very different reasons. For Troy, I think I'll give this slight edge to Troy just because his relationship with Abed is so beautiful and so nice, and it makes me wish I had a friend.
Yeah, this is one I'm gonna give. I'm gonna give a slight edge to Troy as well. It's just like the relationship between him and Abed are just so great. And I think Troy and Abed is probably one of the greatest TV duos around. I mean, there's probably a few others people might put higher, but
they're not a duo.
They're a couple.
They were.
That is the most. First of all, Troy and Abed is the most beautiful pairing of two souls, pretty much ever, I think. But I don't think that Troy exists very much outside of that pairing. Like if you look at Troy, just Troy, I think he's a really weak character. Like, he doesn't bloom until you get him with Abed. Like, I just don't think that happens. And I think that Pierce is a much deeper character. Like, everybody just kind of like, dismisses him as some like angry, bitter old man, but like he gives Annie money for rent and like, helps people out like on the sly. And he's like just a really good guy deep down. But like, I think that Pierce as an like judging these as
I'm switching my vote to
characters-
Pierce. Oh,
Yeah, I think that
you
Pierce.
convinced
I
me.
think that Pierce is
Switch
the
my vote to
strongest,
Pierce.
the better character of the two. Now, if you had put
Streets
if
ahead.
you had put Troy and Abed like as a character, then they beat everyone. Like, I don't care. The world could burn, and as long as they live, I'm fine.
Yeah, to get my reasoning for switching over, I think, yeah, Troy, until they started to put him with Abed, he was fine, but Pierce was pretty good from the very start. Yeah, Troy's great and all, but Pierce, I also, yeah, I don't know, yeah, Pierce, I'm switching my vote.
Yeah,
And Malcolm's just following me. Okay, Malcolm, stand by your man. Come on, what are you doing? I'm a follower. You're the host. You're supposed to be a leader.
I mean,
God,
I'm just that convincing.
yeah, I mean, Rachel's convinced me that Ursula's not a villain, so there's that as well. But
she also didn't vote for Gaston, so
I legit cannot have this discussion one more time.
but
like I wasn't on there.
Stardew follows me everywhere, and she's like, "Please don't talk about Ursula," and I'm like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I like Stardew. I think it's one of those ones that it's why I regret even mentioning it on the stream that I did because yeah, but anyway, the
Look at
next
that,
one,
guys. The host of our flagship show is a follower. Now, look at me. I host a bunch of shows no one watches, so obviously I'm going to follow people.
I'm just that convincing, Matt.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway, this next one will probably be relatively easy, but it's Annie versus Neil. And I'm going to go. I'm actually going to go first on this. It's Annie. Very easily. Rachel, who are you going with for this?
I'm not gonna lie, I legit had to look up who Neil was because he's always referred to as Fat Neil. And so I was like, wait, Neil? I mean, Annie is so great, and she does go through a lot. And her character is a massive roller coaster, and I really appreciate the way that they handled, as comically as they did, it was still with like very with a lot of care and a lot of depth and a lot of love for her, like her drug dependency that she went through in high school, and her addiction to Jeff Winger, because that is an addiction. Definitely Annie. I mean, I love Fat Neil, but Annie is great.
Yeah. I mean, the growth that Annie sort of went throughout the seasons, especially to the final season where she was like, I don't want to graduate. She was finding every reason to stay at Greendale, and like until it was like Jeff sort of convinced her that like to move on, do something with her life and all that. But Matt, where would you have gone on this?
Neil is the focus of one of my favorite episodes, which is the first Dungeons and Dragons episode. But Annie is great. She's one of my favorite characters from the whole series, and I also think I know how to kill Dave Franco because he's married to Alison Brie. I think I must fight him in Mortal Kombat.
I think that those two as human beings are like the human being equivalents of like palm skis. Like they're both very small and adorable, and I just want to carry them around in my purse with me all day.
I don't care if they're cute. I must fight you, Dave Franco.
You're
the last of the Franco brothers anyway, so it's fine.
It's what I'm gonna have to fight Orlando Bloom for Katy Perry. So
really? All right.
Yeah.
And we all have a hill to die on, I guess. That's.
But anyway, we've got Ben Chang versus Professor N. Duncan. I'm going to go to Matt first on this.
Oh,
This is
man.
evil.
This is evil. You suck, Malcolm. I hate you. I love John Oliver. I think he is great. I love like I love when he's running their class in season 2 and he's just like drunk and gone for most of it and they're just watching YouTube videos. And then when Shirley goes into labor, he just runs away and doesn't come back. But Chang is so like he's great because in the first season he's just kind of like a really shitty foreign language teacher, but then he just becomes like a dictator, and then he becomes just this pathetic loser who just wants to be their friend, and I really love it. Yeah, I think I have to go with Chang. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. This one is tough for me, and this is one that I could be very evil and make Rachel be the tiebreaker on this.
Would be the first time.
But I mean, I'm gonna say, like I like Ben. I think I personally I think Ben did kind of drift away, sort of in the 4, 5, 6. Like he wasn't really used as much. Like he had the whole amnesia storyline, which he thought his name was Kevin, and all that. But I'm actually lean towards Professor James. I think he's had a lot of great moments in the show. So Rachel, you're the tiebreaker here.
You son of a bitch. Okay, so I love how Professor Duncan is introduced as like an old friend of Jeff's.
Jeff, yeah.
And like their relationship at the very beginning, just being like, so you're gonna give me just all the answers, right? And he's like, no. And it was so cat and mouse and catty. But like, dude, you can't vote against Chang. He had one of the best, like the episode where he's walking around trying to find the nurse's office because he got his hand bit by a cat and it just kept getting bigger, and like he's so good. And like just knowing that he did not come from a comedic background. He was a doctor before he started acting, and he's that good at it. Like I would have loved to have had him as a doctor. Like I would have had like 3-hour, appointments because we would have been sitting there shooting the shit, making each other laugh. I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to the doctor again. No, nothing's wrong. I just want to have coffee with my doctor.
I just imagine what a prostate exam from Dr. Chang
Yeah.
would have been like.
Don't tell me you wouldn't want him to pretend that you were a Muppet. Let's just be honest. That's hilarious.
I'm sorry. Did my doctor tell you what I do when I got those exams?
No, I just know you.
I just started making the Kermit voice, and they have a nurse come in and sedate me. I don't really know the doctor.
Put his finger up your butt. You just do Kermit arms.
I have a restraining order.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize Ken Jeong was a doctor until
You didn't know it? Yeah.
what was about it until he was in the TV show Dr. Ken.
Yeah,
And that was the first time I realized, like, I had seen in interviews sort of before that show about him being a doctor and him finally playing a doctor in a TV show.
Yeah, he would, I believe on that show, he would like correct some of the writers and be like, you can't put, like, you literally can't do this procedure for this. Like, that's not how this works. So he would like literally just rewrite some of the medical terminology as he was saying his lines. But yeah, no, he quit being a doctor in order to be in The Hangover. Like that was his first acting job. How insane is that? And it's so iconic.
Yeah.
And I kind of put Chang on that level.
That was not his first acting job, since he was in a season 2 episode of The Office. He's in Michael's improv group.
His actual, like, his breakout, like that, like it was so soon after he like stopped being a doctor.
You gonna fuck on me? I'm sorry. I hate Godzilla. I hate him. He destroys cities. Mine had $8,000 inside. This one, nothing. Hey, there's Skittles in there.
But
Asshole. So we have this Hitoki place by my house that we go to all the time for our birthdays, and whenever we leave, ever since I saw The Hangover, I cannot leave that place without under my breath going, "Toodaloo, motherfucker." I like you, Stu. You guys ever seen the deleted scenes of the desert when he starts like hitting on Stu? He's like, "I like you, Stu. You want to come in the car? We got Lord of the Rings. We could have a nice marathon with each other."
I would
and
love to sit and hang out with him, but yeah, it's definitely Chang for sure.
yeah, and actually, Brian Nussbaum's dropped this in the chat. That Knocked Up was Ken Jeong's first movie, and they
Oh,
filmed
that's
booth while he was
right.
working.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's a 10th winner.
Yeah, but the next one we've got is Britta versus Elroy.
Ooh.
And Rachel, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
I always found Elroy a little like condescending. He was, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love a character that's constantly over it because that's my brand. And Britta is a bit of a know-it-all and loudmouth. Who to go with? Like, it's hard because like Britta is one of my least favorite characters.
It's hard because I really don't like either one of them.
I really don't though.
Which
like,
one do I like?
Elroy, because like this show is so like fantastical and ridiculous that like Elroy is like the grounding element for the seasons that he's in, and it just kind of like takes the wind out of the sails. When I'm like, no, like they're being silly and stupid and having fun, and that's what the show is. Just let it be that way. I'm gonna have to pick Britta because she really does kind of have a character arc that she does, whereas Elroy just kind of comes in and like fills a void for no apparent reason.
They needed an old man. Pierce and Buzz were gone.
Well, they need and racially as well, because I mean you gotta keep the diversity.
Yeah, because I mean at that point Troy had left in season 5 as well. So
yeah. And I don't get me wrong, I love Keith David. Like that man is amazing. I would love to see him. Like if they're doing the casting for the live action for Hercules, and if he gets cast as Hades, I'm in for it. That would be amazing. I love him to death. But yeah, I got to go with Britta on this one.
Yeah, I mean Keith David is just one of the one of the two actors that had already appeared in Community in an episode beforehand, because he was a voiceover. I think it was the toilet paper fort episode. The fort episode. The other one we'll get to as well, because the other one is on this as well. Matt, who are you going with out of these two?
Yeah, this is very difficult. Elroy was only in the last season, so he didn't get as much as the other characters because he was only in the last season, and unlike Buzz, like they didn't really go in, like there wasn't like an episode with like Buzz's son for Elroy, which is fine. Two different characters. Britta is probably out of the main crew my least favorite member of the main crew. She reminds me so much of my older sister, that just know it all, and I need to let you know that I know it all kind of thing. She also reminds me of a lot of the people that I went to both high school and college with, to where like they join causes just cause, not because they actually give a shit about it. Like they join it just so they can say they're
better than
cause. You. So I'm going to give my vote to Elroy because he annoys me less than Britta. Also, what the fuck was Britta and Troy? What was that?
Right? That was season 5, wasn't it?
That was just weird. No, that was
4?
That was 4.
That was 4. That was the gas. That was the gas leak. It's fine.
It was weird, man.
It's the gas leak. Gas leaks make you do weird things.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, I think I might have finished off the relationship maybe at the start of season 5. I can't remember. I don't quite remember, but
No, I think Pierce was still alive.
Yeah, Pierce
He was
is
still in the show. Because
yeah.
they break up on their anniversary because not
Oh,
everyone
yeah,
remembers
that's
it's their
right.
anniversary, and they're
Yeah.
like,
and they do the parents
they do the parent trap.
parent trap switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means it falls on me to be the tiebreaker here.
Nah, how's it feel now?
Pretty good, actually.
Well, it's good.
because
You know what? Fuck it. We did it to him on Britain Elroy. Like, it's not really like it's not picking between children. It's picking between like second nephews.
but I mean,
between the annoying cousins.
yeah, I mean, these are two characters I actually do like. Because I mean, I do like what Gillian did with Britta. But Britta does remind me a lot of one of my ex-girlfriends, just going, just who wants to just play with your heart, or every chance she gets, like, oh, I like you, I don't like. But yeah, but I actually really did like Elroy in the one season that we saw him. So unfortunately, Britta's not moving on.
Time out.
That's fine.
Did anyone think he was going to choose Britta after saying she reminds me of my ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, no.
Nah. Now I don't have one of those, so I don't know what that's like, Malcolm. But
I mean, to be fair, I don't either. So you know.
But next up, we've got Dean versus Leonard.
Screw you! Oh! What an ass!
But I'm going to start with Rachel on this.
Why?
Oh my god! Why would you pair Leonard and Dean Pelton? Oh my god! First of all, the Dean is just one of the most beautifully written LGBTQ plus characters. That man has more pluses on his name. Oh my god, I love him so dearly. The amount of outfits that he went through and personality traits. The episode that he thinks he's texting with Jeff and he's actually texting with that like Japanese teen or Korean teen, like I can't remember. It's so heartbreaking because he just loves him so much and it's so sweet. And I just want to like have him curl up in my lap so I can pet him like a cat. And then there's Leonard, who's like, I want to be the female version of him when I'm old. I'm very excited to get into my 70s so I can be crotchety and surly like he is. I mean, I feel like we got more with Dean than we did with Leonard. Both of them are like two of my favorite characters of the show. But I think I'm going to have to go Dean because he did provide so much more in story and character than Leonard did. Leonard was basically just like the butt of a joke. We never really got to know him. So I got to go for Dean.
But Matt, who are you going with on this one?
Yeah, I really love Leonard. I always loved how like he was like the oldest person there, and yet they treated him like a 15-year-old. Like he would always be around when something happened to one of the characters, and you're like, "Ha, sucks!" Like, shut up, Leonard. I always loved that, but Dean is just like he's so crazy, and I love it. His fascination with Dalmatians, his love of Jeff Winger. I love when he makes himself a key parent trap. Not Parent Trap. What is it? Freaky Friday with yeah, it's Freaky Friday, not Parent Trap. Freaky Friday with Jeff, and he's like taking his shirt off, and Annie is like, Annie's trying him into it, and Britta's like, Annie, what are you doing?
Doesn't she like clap in front of her face?
He's great, and he's just so yeah. I got because Dean just cracks me up. Jim Rash is so great, and you like I don't think I would want him to be my Dean, but like he's certainly a character I love to watch on screen. But I'm like, you would probably annoy the shit out of me if we were ever in person with each other. But on a screen, you're great.
I would be friends with him in real life.
Yeah. But yeah, my vote's also going to the Dean. like I'm like as soon as I made this and I saw what the brackets looked like, I had the same reaction as Rachel did, because I like both of these characters, and when I saw that was what the period was going to be, it's like I'm not going to change it. I'm stuck to my guns. So I'm going to have it on ranked episode amount of episodes they're in. So yeah, but yeah, Dean just Dean's on to the next round.
Ding ding.
But next
love
up, we've
her
got
so much.
a pairing which I found really funny when they happened this way: Abed versus Frankie Dart.
Oh, interesting.
Matt, who are we going with on this?
Sorry, I'm getting tough. But Abed is quite possibly like a TV depiction of myself in a very weird way. Like all the Abed is who I am when I'm in society, like completely socially inept, can only speak in pop culture references. I'm not so far along that I don't understand like that. Like I know it's not a TV show. I know that I'm not that far along, but the just not really getting people and just like only understanding people in the sphere of like television. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Hence why I started working on this channel when I was in college, guys. Let me remind you, in college, I started working on this channel. Okay, what does that tell you that a 20-year-old had to do in college if on a Friday night he was sitting on YouTube making Arnold impressions talking about movie trivia? I didn't have a lot to do because I didn't have what you called friends. But no, I had friends in college. They just all forgot about me now. But yeah, so Abed's my choice. Frankie was fine. I thought she was okay. She just her character was designed to be out of the pack, and I think a lot like Elroy, just because she was only introduced in the last season, she just really didn't get a lot of time to really grow at all because there wasn't really any time.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm also going Abed on this. The reason I did say this was an interesting matchup and this happened, when Frankie was introduced, she what a lot of the characters called her the female version of Abed, but and but yeah, I mean, just like Matt, I too also am like Abed at times. Like, I get people telling me to shut up, and I keep talking about movies and all the movie trivia stuff I do online and all that. And it's just one of those ones. Like, I mean, it's what I like. I mean, I'm not going to stop doing that because
Cool.
yeah. But Rachel, who would you have gone on this?
I mean, Abed is you get so many seasons to delve into who he is and why he is the way he is, and how he develops certain reactions to the way to things because of the way that he was raised, and you get to meet his dad and like see that whole side. I really wish that we had gotten more of Frankie because I was really intrigued with Frankie as a character. I think calling her the female Abed does her a slight disservice. It's not untrue, but she also she had so much depth to her, and like the fact that she was I think what the writers were going for her, what I got from her was that she was supposed to be asexual. And I thought that would have been a really interesting thing to introduce into a show as mainstream as Community, because they do bring that up during the episode where they book the comedian. And all of their emails have gotten out, and she's like, they're debating whether like what her sexuality is, and I'm like, you know what, that would be a really great episode to like delve into, because it's not like the dean was so like the episode where they wanted to make him like
the gay dean, and he's like,
the
he
gay
doesn't really
dean.
quite cover it.
This is not even the tip of the iceberg. Like, he's like plus. He's so amazing, and there's so many layers to his sexuality that I would have loved to dive into that, craziness because it's so beautiful and wonderful and filled with sparkles and glitter. But I think diving into Frankie's sexuality would have been really interesting and like delving more into her because she does have those like those ticks and those she's very warm, but she keeps a distance from people. And I love the way that they wrote her. I wish we could have gotten more. But I mean, Abed, the show is about Abed, I'm convinced. Like
Yes.
he's the only one who breaks the fourth wall. He has the most amazing imagination. He remembers everything and references everything. And yeah, there's a bit of Abed in all of us, especially the three of us, for what we do in this industry.
Yeah.
And like, we all speak in pop culture and movie quotes constantly. And it's not a bad thing. You know, I've been doing it my entire life. And so I love that Abed is such a well-rounded character because he's not just, you know, that straight face. He really does love and care for every single one of the people in Community. He just has a different way of showing it and expressing it. So
yeah, I've always said that Jeff is the main character of the show, but Abed's the heart of the show.
Well, he's the face of the show, but Abed is the show. Like the show is about Abed. Abed's the only one who knows that it's a TV show. Like he is like he's like a producer that snuck himself into the cast, you know? Like
yeah. And we'll get into it more when we talk about episodes, but Figgins from Glee, Iqbal, I figures his name, as Abed's father it's great casting. That relationship was great, but as I said, we'll get more to that when we talk about episodes.
Great, but well,
it's
fine, Malcolm. There's a lot to do. We still have episodes to talk about, so we should probably finish this.
The last round. The last round we have is Shirley versus Starburns. Rachel, where are you going on this?
Oh my. I mean, did either of you guys go to community college ever?
No, but I went to a state university, so
no, not the same. Malcolm, did you go to a JC or a community college?
I did go to a community college.
So you know that at every junior college or community college around the world has a Starburns guy. There's always going to be that one guy who just like is so ridiculous and so out there that he's gonna carve stars into the side of his face. You know, like he's that guy. I liked Starburns, but he was never like I liked him the same way that I liked Leonard, even though I liked Leonard a little bit more. Starburns was just kind of a butt of a joke. He, you know, would help out in like the grand scheme of the bigger storylines, but he was never a character that like we really delved into. Whereas Shirley, we had Thanksgiving at her house and we went through her divorce and reconnecting with her ex-husband and, you know, again, breaking up with him. We learned about her kids and she just went through a lot in Community. And even though we like lost her because, I mean, we did lose her for a very good reason. And then she got her own TV show, which was hilarious. But yeah, I'm going to go Shirley.
Matt, where are you going on this?
Starburns is a great character that they have a lot of great jokes for. I mean, the fact that he faked his own death with a bunch of stuff to pretty much be Heisenberg from Breaking Bad is great and makes still a sunshine character. He leads to one of my favorite jokes in one of my favorite episodes, which is when Abed forces him to give him his leather vest because he needs to be Han Solo before Jeff just falls into the role. He just forces. But yeah, Shirley's great. I always Shirley having. So I'm a Lutheran or a Protestant. So like, we have Shirleys who are just like, they really try to be sweet, but they're also really passive aggressive people who go to my church, these women, and they're just like, and you're just like, oh, okay, because I just love whenever she's like talking to Annie about Judaism, like all this stuff. You're like, she's hiding over the guy, it's his sweetness, but like that's kind of dark, Shirley, and I love that, and she's the mom of the group, and she's just always just trying to be happy, even though like she's on the razor's edge. Like at a moment's notice, she can just snap, and she does a couple times, and I love it. And she's great. I love her little cameos in the final episode when sort of Abed, they're all just sort of like trying to figure out what next season would be. So yeah, so Shirley's great. That's my vote.
Yeah, I mean, Shirley would have got it for this. And I mean, this was one that last spot, I had trouble deciding who to put in because I almost was going to swap out Starburns for Magnitude.
Pop.
Pop.
Yeah.
I want
but-
that. That's mine.
Yeah.
Let's say pop again.
That was the saddest episode. I wanted
I
to
was
punch
so
that guy in the face
broken.
so hard. I was like, "Don't you take his pop? It's
but
not
yeah,
your toy to play with."
and I mean, a fun fact that I did find out about Magnitude was that he was in the Harry Potter movies. He played Lee Jordan in the first 2 Harry Potter movies, which I didn't know until well afterwards.
Well, now I just have to go back and edit all his dialogue to be pop in the first 2 Harry Potter films.
Oh my God! Please, dear God, do.
I mean,
Oh
I
Do you think I won't do it? Jacob London once said when I made a joke about editing Kurt Russell into the Harry Potter films, he thought I wouldn't do it, and I made a trailer of it. So I probably will do it.
I have yet to receive that in my email. That's all I'm saying.
I'll send it to you. I'll send the link to you right now.
Sharing is caring.
But
I
anyway,
can
which
find it.
moves us into round 2, which we've got Abed versus Shirley. And I'm going to start with myself. Yeah, as much as I
good.
like Shirley, I'm going to go Abed on this. Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, Shirley is the church lady with a shank in her purse. And as much as I love the dichotomy of that character, like, Abed is the best of us. I don't think that anybody watches this show and is like, oh, Abed. Like, there are moments when you watch and you're like, shut up, Shirley. Like, I get it. But, like, Abed is the best.
And Matt.
Yeah, I think Shirley's great. I think she has a lot of great moments, but I think if you don't like Abed, I'm pretty certain you don't like Community. Like, I know it's weird to say, but it's almost like I'm not really sure you like The Office if you really hate Michael Scott. Like, there's kind of just these characters in these shows that are just so integral to what the show is and the type of comedy that the show's going for. It's just like, yeah, if you're not a fan of Abed, you probably don't like Community, actually. So yeah, it's Abed.
Yeah, like there are some characters that are easier to replace. Like there are some characters that they obviously replaced with quite ease. But then there are some that would be difficult to, but you could get around with it. You can't replace Abed in this show. Period.
But next one is probably bound to be pretty easy again. We've got Dean versus Elroy. Rachel, I'm going to start with you.
You can't take my Dean from me. Ever. Like that man, just the fact that he came out dressed as Cheetah Rivera, like I lost my mind. And then as Lucy with like the gray makeup. God, I love him so much.
Matt.
It's Dean. Dean.
Definitely Dean. Ooh, that next round's going to be interesting. Eddie versus Ben.
Woo.
Matt.
Yeah, I was gonna say now. Yeah, Ben is great. I love Chang, but Annie just gets so much more development. Like Rachel said in the first round, I like how even though a lot of times through comedy, her whole addiction stuff, and sort of you see her, she's one of the characters where you really see her grow from season 1 to season 6, and I really like that. So yeah, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite moment involves when Troy gets the monkeys and outraged when Troy decides
Andy's
to name it Eddie's boobs.
We've lost Andy's boobs. What?
What?
But, But yeah, I'm going Eddie on this. Rachel.
Yeah, Annie goes from little Annie Adderall to working for the FBI, right? Like, that's a crazy jump in character development. She also just yeah. I mean, I love Ben Chang. Chang is hilarious. I'm really glad that they ended up reworking the character after that first season, because he was just so beautiful in in the relationship that he had with the study group. And so I'm really glad that they brought him back and made him a student and had them interacting, and he's just so desperate for their love, and you just want to hold him and hug him and like give him a popsicle or something, tell him everything's going to be okay. But Annie has much better character development.
And one thing I actually didn't talk about earlier, but has anyone watched Ken Jeong and Jeff McHale's podcast, The Darkest Timeline, that they started up during quarantine?
No, I haven't because I
No.
just finished the show. But as far as I know, it's the community version of Office Ladies.
Yeah, it's something
amazing.
like that. I mean, whether or not that it continues once everyone's allowed to actually go back to work and all that.
So my vote on that last round doesn't matter.
You started.
You started,
didn't you?
Oh yeah, I guess I did.
You literally you proposed to Annie again. Like,
you're right. Okay. All right.
Or did you just want to keep talking about her? Because we can do that afterwards.
No, because Chang lost his last time. I could do it.
I mean, Eddie's moved on. You're going to be able to talk about Annie again.
It's a really good thing that I did not watch the show when I was in high school, of which I don't think it would have been possible. I'm not sure when the show started airing. When did the show start airing?
2009.
Oh no, and fuck yeah, I probably would have been able to watch it when I was in high school because I would have sat in the back of some of my classes and just went,
I'm sure your teachers would appreciate that you didn't watch it back then.
Probably. I did a lot of other stuff. I once asked my science teacher if he could see Uranus, and then I mooned him.
Nice.
No, I didn't. Are you kidding me? I said I was Abed. I sat in the back of my class doodling Millennium Falcons into my book. I wasn't doing anything like that. I was not that cool, guys. Come on.
But next up, we've got Jeff versus Pierce. Rachel, going to start with you.
I mean, Jeff is the face of the show, and like you start the series off by like following his journey. I mean, how do you not love a character that literally commits suicide by masturbation?
He was doing it for his friends.
It was, and then gifted it to all of them. Because who doesn't want to get a cryo-frozen thing of sperm from your friend who
Jeff,
just...
Do you know you're gay? No.
No.
Well, you are.
You are. Here's a thing of sperm.
Here's a thing of sperm.
I mean, Pierce had some really fantastic moments, and he did like have a really great arc. I do the episode where he's like on his deathbed and everybody's at the hospital and dealing with him. Like I it's one of my favorite episodes. And then at the end when he dies and he, still gives Annie the crown because she was his actual favorite. Like it makes me tear up a little bit because it's so sweet. Like he really does like have that really beautiful soft side to him. But I mean, I fear that Jeff's career path is what mine is following. But Jeff is the face of the show. Everything is seen, through his eyes, even though it's being told by Abed. And I think that Jeff Winger just has a really great. It's just a really great character.
Yeah. Matt, Jeff, or Pierce?
I love Pierce. Chevy Chase, of course, obviously is great, even though Joe McHale's talked about that he was not always the best to work with on set. On screen, he was great, and he felt a lot like Michael Scott in that, like, Michael Scott would sometimes say and do offensive things, but it was never his intention to hurt people. It's just like that childish, like, they don't know any better. And that was kind of Pierce. Like, he would just do things just because he was trying to just like help the group, or but yeah, he was great. But I think Jeff, I already said this out. He was my favorite character. I think he was my favorite because his arc was one of the most developed of how like he starts off just trying to like cheat his way out of the school, and like the only reason why he starts the whole study group is because he's trying to get with Britta. But then as time goes on, like by the end of season 4, like he's kind of upset to be graduating so early, and then sort of like bring him back for season 5. And I love the episode when Annie kind of convinces him to actually like teaching, and he doesn't even realize it, and then he's like, oh my god, I can actually do this. And then in the last episode to where he realizes that like he's gonna stay at Greendale and they're all gonna move on, and he just has to find that middle ground between like being able to stay friends with them but realizing that like they all have to move on and he doesn't. It's just great. And Pierce is awesome. But I guess Pierce would say that Jeff Winger is streets ahead of him.
Yeah. But yeah,
Mr. Harford wanted me to ask you, Mr. Winger, do you know you're gay? No? Well, he said you are.
but yeah, my vote would have gone to Jeff as well. And I really did love the moment of where he was his broom was being handed out, and that scene, especially down at the table read, Pedro Pascal just clearly not having read the script or watched the episode before, coming to that line is like not being having trouble getting it out, and to what was this supposed to be this emotional scene, half the cast just cracking up at the fact that Pedro like just to realize how much
they were cracking up that the Mandalorian couldn't get the sperm out. What a shame.
It's hard when you have to wear the mask all the time. God.
Hey, this is the way.
Yeah, I'll show you another way. Hey. Sorry, Pedro's really hot.
Which brings us to the first one in the semi-finals, which is
oh man, this is why we don't have 1,000 subs, nor will we ever have subscribers. Oh no.
So I'm going to start off with this one. I do like Jeff, like he is the show, but as a character, I think Annie was probably the most had a better character arc to me. So I'm going Annie on this. Rachel, where are you going on this one?
See, I love that Annie had that arc. Like I just said, she, went from little Annie Adderall to working for the FBI, and that's amazing. But I think that Jeff's character comes full circle, and he also has the role of playing like a part of, how do I put this? He was the guy in the group that had been out there, that had, left had gone out into the real world, had a career, got caught doing something shady, but had to come back and like had that experience. And so when he was with the study group the first few seasons, he was like the one to kind of like redirect everybody back onto a course, because they would theorize about a lot about what the real world was. And he was like, no, I know what the real world is. And this is it. And this is why you're wrong. And this is why it's bad to think that way, because you need to start thinking this way if you ever want to get out of here. And he tries to, like, that was his whole purpose, was trying to get away. And then he fell in love with them and fell in love with the place, and then ends up staying and having this, I don't know. I really loved the cyclical nature of Jeff Winger and the issue that he was facing at the very end of it, where, everybody else was going off into the great wild, into the wild without him, and he had to stay. So I gotta say Jeff.
Which brings us to Matt.
This is really tough, because this is like the character I want to be and the character I want to be with. And I really want to be with Jeff Winger. Just for a night. Because just, I feel like we could stay up and talk about, foosball afterwards. But no.
Great little spoon.
But yeah, this is really tough because Annie is great, and I love how like she's just always like trying to be happy, and just like you really believe it. And I always just kind of like that. And as Rachel talks about, like her whole change from who we see who she was in high school to who she is the series of is great. But I think what works about Jeff is he starts off the show as such a self-centered character. Like, he lied about getting a bachelor's degree so he could become a lawyer. And he was just like a really shitty lawyer who just like lied and just like didn't care about people. And, you know, as Rachel said, like, he would always be the one who, when they're theorizing about what they think the world is, he actually sort of tells them the hard truth. But at the same time, they also show him that it's okay to not be so self-centered, and that there is sort of like good things about caring about other people, and they help him reconnect with his dad, and like all these things. And then and that is the great thing, is that of all the things that I don't like about season 6, something in the last episode that I really did like was there is this real full circle to this character who was so self-centered in the first episode, but the last episode is literally about him caring too much about other people, that he doesn't want to lose them because he realizes what they've done for him. But he also realizes that, like, when he has the dream scenario being married to Annie and all this, and he kind of just realizes, no, this is not good. I have to let them all go. And yeah, it's great. I have to give the slight edge to Jeff. But Allison, that doesn't mean nothing. Okay, I'll still take it. I don't care. I feel like
you were great as Annie.
I feel like Thunderdome right now. I'm just like, choose your weapon. I don't care how we do. You want to do fisticuffs? Cool. I took Kempo karate for 3 years. I was green belt. What are you, Dave Franco? Big, beautiful, rich Hollywood actor, and I live in my parents' house. Same day.
But yeah, before I get on to this last one, which is Dean
Oh,
versus
no.
Garth has brought up in the chat that something that I completely forgot. Jim Mash is actually an Oscar winner because
Yeah, The Descendants.
he wrote The Descendants, which got adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
One of my favorite movies. He I think it was adapted. Yeah, I think it was adapted screenplay.
Yeah,
Still,
it was adapted.
Descendants is the George Clooney movie, right?
Yeah, it's the George
In
Clooney
Hawaii.
movie when his wife is in the coma and he learns that she was cheating on him with Shaggy. Yeah.
Hey, Matthew Lillard is a stud.
I'm not saying anything bad, but I remember the first time I saw that movie, I turned to my bro because there's this scene when George Clooney confronts him at his house, and I just remember turning to my brother and going like, "Oh shit, Scoop, he's onto us."
It also shows like the age difference between the two of us, because you reference him as Shaggy, and I'm like, no, that's Stu from Scream.
Yeah.
Like,
he's Shaggy. Although, yeah, he's Shaggy
and beautiful. Still got a crush on him. Love you, Matt.
Oh.
Anyway.
Just revealing our crushes that have so
we're just revealing our hearts for people we'll never.
But Rachel, I'm going to go to you first on this. Dean versus Abed.
Like, as soon as I realized that they were going up against each other, like my eyes started welling with tears because I can't. Like, this is Sophie's Choice. Like, I can't. Like, both of them are just so wonderful and just like make my heart and soul that much richer and happier and full of color and life and whimsy and imagination, and just I don't wanna. I mean, for all of the reasons why I love the Dean I've said before, I still have to give a slight edge to Abed because this is his story. Like, he is the narrator of this. And if you don't have Abed, you don't have this show. It would never be as good. It would never have as much heart or as much humor. I think it's just he is community. Like, that's what it is. Like, he is the character that has pulled them all together every time that they have exploded and scattered. He's the one to bring everybody back in. Like, they even had that episode where he was trying to find the common thread because they were like, well, we're done. And he was like, no. This is why we're all friends. We're all connected. We're all here. We're in each other's lives for this exact reason. And like, you can't have that scene without having Abed. You can't have this group wouldn't have worked for as long as it did, as well as it did without Abed. Like, if without Abed, this show would have lasted maybe 2.5 seasons, maybe. But because of Abed, you get, everything through, you get to see everything through his eyes, and he just brings that level of whimsy and heart to it. So Dean, I love you and your headpieces and your cosplay and your heels to the depths of my soul, but Abed wins out on this one.
Matt, who are you going on this?
I really do love the Dean. I think the Dean is great, but Abed is the heart of the show. I love the fact that he stands outside of a movie theater in a mall trying to prevent kids from seeing the Phantom Menace. Like, that's just great. He's just so like sweet, and he just like I just connect with the character so much because it's just like I know that social awkwardness, and that just like you just think in movie quotes, and that's just that's the world you understand because the actual world you live in doesn't make sense. And so it's just easier to just think of our fans a TV show because there is logic to that. It reminds me a lot of the end to Boldly Flee for any nostalgia fans. Like, it's very much just that same, like, there's rhyme and reason to a script. There's no rhyme and reason to real life. So yeah, I gotta give it to Abed. Dean's great.
Yeah, this is easily Abed. I like the Dean, but I think if what everyone else has said, like Abed is the show, it's just one of those ones that it kind of helps drive it along. But yeah, Abed moves on, which means for the final,
I knew this was going to happen. I knew in my soul that this is what it was going to come down to.
We've got the face versus the heart. Matt, I'm going to start for you.
I've said a lot of great things about both these characters, but make it quick, I'm going with Jeff Winger. It's my favorite character from the whole show. Joe McHale had a great deadpan delivery to a lot of stuff, but it really comes down to Abed changed over the course of the show, but I think his change wasn't like Jeff's, and I really kind of liked Jeff's whole story. Also, Jeff made a reference to Ben Affleck in the very first episode, so points there. Ben Affleck has an Oscar.
But yeah, for basically what we've said about Abed, the last few times, like I'm going Abed on this. Like, while Jeff is great and the show is his, Abed is the heart of the shows. But so yeah, I'm sorry, Rachel, but
now, Rachel, look, we're not saying that if you don't pick one of these that we're going to be in the darkest timeline.
I feel like that. I mean, we already are. I hope. Like,
yeah. What am I saying? 2020, we are in the darkest timeline.
Yeah. I feel like whoever I pick, I have to like I'm stabbing the other one in the heart. And it hurts my soul to pick this.
That's why Malcolm does this.
It's so evil. Boss. Jeff's character has the best, like, if you look at it, Abed's character doesn't have a lot of development, but he is so integral to the story that you can't have the show without him. However, Jeff Winger's character development is all over the place. He backslides and improves and helps people out and then gets selfish and then apologizes. Like, he progresses. It's such an his character progression looks like a roller coaster. It's just fucking all over the place and so beautifully done and wonderful. Oh God, how do you pick? I hate you so much for making me the tiebreaker. I am so angry. But
you can't see my horns. They just merged in with my Jojo Rabbit poster.
Deal with this, but I'm gonna have Band-Aid. I'm gonna have to go Jeff. I have to go Jeff. He's got the best character development, whereas Abed is, I'm convinced, a producer that slid into the cast.
Which means Jeff is the winner of the bracket.
I love you, Abed. Troy and Abed in the morning.
Which does me the
who's you guys talking to?
You're not a TV show.
Which does make me wonder, why did Community never do a bracket episode similar to the Dice one, in which they come with multiple scenarios depending on which options gets picked?
Because it would have been that could have been the 7th season, honestly.
I mean,
imagine if season 7 was like a choose your own adventure, to where like you just randomly click and it's just like, I don't know, just thinking out loud
massively
here.
different scenes.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but I would love a choose your own adventure episode of Community, done in the same sort of vein as the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt special, which was released earlier, and that could be a lot of fun. Maybe it's going to be the movie that is rumored to actually be happening.
6 seasons in a
6
movie.
seasons in a movie.
Hey, but yeah, which
Garth.
does actually bring to my talking point. It's actually going to do later, but because we've sort of started now. But if there is a movie, what do you think it's going to be? What's going to happen in it? Rachel, I'll start with you.
I mean, there's so many. I feel like it's the last episode where we're like, well, it depends on what they decide to do with it. Like, it could literally be, present day and catching up with everyone. I have a sad feeling that it's going to be something like I don't want them to do this at all. Let me just put this out there right now. But I feel like it's going to be like they're all coming back together for like a funeral or or like a wedding, which like it has to be like I don't think that they're all, after going off on their separate paths, are all going to end up back in Colorado together, because they have done so many different things. I think it has to be like a big event that's bringing them all together, such as a wedding or a funeral. I don't want the funeral to be the dean's funeral, because he has to be in it 100%.
Yeah.
But you also can't really kill anybody else off that would bring everybody back. Like if they heard that Elroy had died, they'd be like, oh, I'll send flowers. But like if they heard the dean died, they would be like, oh, we have to go back for this. Like it would have to be the death of a very important character. Marriage, I mean, maybe Britta getting married, and then it would focus back in on Jeff and Annie's relationship, and Abed went off to LA, so he's probably like a big time movie writer, producer, whatever he went off to be. We could actually finally catch up with Troy. That would be fun. Because nobody knows what happened to him when he went sailing off into the
LeVar
sunset,
Burton.
literally, with LeVar Burton.
Garth has got a brilliant idea in the chat. The movie will be Abed's movie premiere. We made a Community movie about them.
See, I think that that's a really good hour-long episode, but I would feel a little weird if they've done amazing episodes. If they oh my god, could you imagine if they did like a 10-year anniversary of paintball and everybody got called back?
This is mine.
It was a 2.5 hour
into what my idea of the movie is, which is my whole event that brings them all back together is not a death or a wedding. It's because of all the community colleges I ever know to do a reunion, it would be Greendale. So they do a reunion, and the dean has just been up all their butts, and then emails and letters that are like, fine, we'll go to this stupid reunion. And then at the reunion, City College and Greendale have one more final paintball war. And that is the movie.
I would only accept that if the Russo brothers direct it.
Yeah, and I see they literally have it be the Avengers Endgame, but
we finally get to find out who the Silver Shooter is.
Yes,
we have to find out.
That's why I think that's how you do is you bring them back for this reunion, and then at the reunion, we finally get to find out what that blueprint was from City College, and it's one last final paintball war, and then we can also have the janitors come back at the very end to be like, God damn it, guys, again. That's just like the final joke we get to have.
Yes, please bring back Nathan Fillion. I am so okay with that.
I mean, ironically, I was going the other way. I was going to say, getting Kumail Nanjiani back in as a judge as well. Both Nathan Fillion and
Why not
Kumail
both?
would like
I feel
need
like
to
a
be
little
picked.
Mexican girl right now.
To be fair, everybody has to come back. Like every single person who's ever worked on it has to be there.
That's what I'm saying. I just felt like that's where the reunion would have worked, because there would have been a reason for them all to come back. You could have gotten all the professors in there as well, all the different side people.
Shirley's kids could be going there.
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, sort of all our pitches kind of bled into the pitch that we all had, because my idea was to get Russo's to direct it and do an Avengers Endgame style thing.
Yeah, but you can't get Abed sane, like disappearing and dying. Like if that happens, I will have to walk out of the theater because I will be crying.
I
am Abed. Dude.
I mean, I don't think they'll kill off anyone, or at least kill anyone off for real.
No,
I
think you would do is you would have Abed do the Iron Man sacrifice thing, and then you kind of just have it all, and then you have the funeral be for some random person, but you treat it like it's Abed's, and then you sort of have like Fat Neil or something move, and there's just Abed staying there with him. It's like, what are you guys all so sad about? Like, you literally have the moment from Last Crusade when they all think Indy's dead, and Indy's just kind of looking over with them, and then it's like, oh, hey, Abed.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
And I'll be to kind of finish off the circle, like to lean into what Rachel said about them all coming back for a wedding. It's one of those ones I kind of don't really want it to be Britta marrying a random person. I'd like it to be maybe Jeff and Annie getting married, then like at the start, then we get a flashback to sort of how like somehow to how Jeff and Annie sort of refound each other and actually got together, and that to me like two members of the community, the gang sort of getting married kind of makes a little bit more sense than just one of them getting married to someone we've never met before. But I mean, that's
Britta has to be married to someone we've never met before.
Yeah,
Britta and the Dean.
maybe Britta's marrying Starburns. You don't know.
Chang.
Oh my god. Shirley and Chang, that would be. Oh, that would make me so happy. There are so many amazing ways for them to go. Like it's one of those things where I'm like, you have the opportunity to make this so wonderful. Like, please don't screw this up.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones. If they do a wedding, get Magnitude to be the officiant.
Oh my god.
The paintball has to be involved somewhere. I just feel like if we do a community movie, paintball is not.
You have to have paintball.
Because if you're going to do a movie, I feel like it's not going to be a TV movie. It's going to be a legitimate theater going experience. And to see, because the paintball episodes are already film like as it is, but to have a movie budget and to see that like, come on, you have to have it.
It has to happen.
I mean, and I think if like it's one of those ones, like if they do it to sort of parody a superhero movie style thing, I think it does need to be a movie for it to be efficient to do it that way.
Yeah, but I think that's doing it. It still has to read like an episode. Like it still has to feel like Community with like I mean, the whole thing can't feel superhero-y. Otherwise, it's just going to feel weird and off. And
it can't. It has to. Yeah, because that's the worst. I mean, I'm totally fine with that curve. It has to. I do agree with Rachel, because I think even you look at like even shows that come back for like Fuller House. You look at Fuller House. Like Fuller House kind of sucked because it didn't feel like Full House. It felt like a parody of Full House.
I mean,
like it didn't feel. It felt like, oh, hey, let's make references to the Olsen twins and all this, which that's not what Full House was. Compare that to season 10 of Roseanne, which felt like, oh, so this is where the Connors are in 2018. This is what they're doing after all this time. Like, I feel like that's what Community needs to be. I just feel like if you make it too much of a superhero parody, that's not what the show was. Like, you have to find that balance of making it feel like Community, but also still taking advantage of the fact that it's a movie and not just not. That's why I think Garth's idea, like you said, I think it'd be a great like episode, but I don't think it has. I don't think it would be able to sustain a whole. That's why I think doing the reunion type thing is because you get pretty much see being like kind of like Predator, but a Community movie to where Predator starts off the first half is Rambo First Blood Part 2 and the second half is Alien. You kind of do the same thing where the first half is like a Community, like they're just in the school, they're just making the jokes like any episode, and then the second half is the paintball episodes to where it's an epic all-out war, so you get the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah.
What if they make it that Community is like the college is actually closing, and as its last hurrah, they're finally doing the challenge with City to find like to go out as the big like trophy winner for paintball. Because also weren't they wanting to like get in the Guinness Book of World Records for something? So like the whole fort, the pillow fort, and stuff like that. Like they could, and like by the end of it, like it's just a cute little throw-in that they get in the Guinness Book of World Records for largest game of paintball in history.
Yeah,
like I think it'd be kind of cute.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is like, Garth's idea could easily work as maybe as a post-credit scene or something, like, in which like everything we just sort of saw was more of a
post-credit scene is Abed being like, and that's my pitch, and then you sort of turn around and it's Dan Harmon and the Russo brothers like, all right, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
And also, yes.
Yes.
I think also just because we need to get Chevy Chase back in some way, have him be the Obi-Wan Kenobi spirit voice in like Jeff's head at some point when he's doing something.
Oh, there's like, or like he left like a $10 million grant to Greendale, but the stipulation is that there's like a bust in Jeff's office or in his class, so you constantly just see this bronze bust of Pierce,
and the plaque says Jeff Winger, gay.
Yeah.
You could even have a reference to that where it's like, what's the bust all about? It's like, so we found out Pierce gave the school a ton of money, but I have to keep this bronze statue in my classroom at all time. And what does that plaque say? Jeff Winger, do you know you're gay?
I mean, they definitely have to try and figure out a way to get Chevy Chase in this, regardless of what his relationship is with the cast, on whether he still talks to them or not.
Okay, just because I'm going crazy, I'm just looking at this as like the ultimate movie I want to have happen. You literally have the scene from Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 when Harry's in King's Cross talking to Dumbledore, but that's Jeff and Pierce. Like, Jeff gets knocked out during the game or something, and he wakes up and he's in like Greendale, but with Pierce.
It's the end of the paintball game where Jeff gets like he goes to avoid getting shot, ends up hitting his head against a wall or a door,
and then he just like
goes and sees it, and then comes out and like wins the game for Greendale. Like, I'm in this 100%.
Look, Dan,
the problem is we're writing a movie.
We've come up with an idea for you. Call us. We'll help you write the script if need be.
But Dean has to play Voldemort in that moment. Just the curled up, naked underneath the bench has to be the Dean.
And then you can just have Pierce like, "The hell is that?"
But yeah, I mean, I think in this movie, Pitch, we've talked about some of our favorite episodes. But Matt, what are some of your favorite episodes for Community?
Oh my! The problem is I've only watched through this season once, so like episode titles aren't really stuck with me yet. My favorite episode by far is A Few Paintballs More. I am a big Clint Eastwood Westerns fan. That was just totally a perfect, like, just it lived in that world, and I loved it. I just loved all the characters, the way they interacted. The jokes in it were amazing. Why are you having her just dance all the time? Oh, come on, she's a dance major. It was just great. The action for like it is a show about people going to community college, but the action was just insanely awesome. Other episodes that I like. Yeah, see, this is tough because I only gone through the show once. I love the episode when they all kind of get put on trial for who they are. Like it's the second episode with the Germans, and then they all talk about how like they just own that room, and you just see like all these moments from the episodes whenever people are trying to use the conference room, like when they're just like they lost a pen, and you just see the revert. I like that because other episodes I like. I love the one when Jack Black guest stars and he's trying to get in with the group, and then he finally does, and that was just their backup group. Yeah, there's a lot of great ones.
Yeah. And old Wilson is the cool group.
Yeah. but I think my favorite episode is for a few paintballs more. I just thought it was perfect. I wasn't expecting it, but it was great.
Yeah, I think the paintball episodes definitely are like in a class of their own.
Yeah.
Like they're in like everybody loves those. They're amazing. They're so much fun. They're so well shot, obviously.
Also, whichever episode it is when they play Pierce's dad's video game, that is also one of my favorites.
That's a really good one too. Yeah. I also like the D&D episodes, both of them. The one with Fat Neil, and then the one shoot, who was it with Buzz. The professor and his son, with Buzz and his son. Yeah. Just anytime that they have to like really care about another character outside of their group, it's so heartwarming and wonderful. I do love the episode, it's so stupid, but I love the episode where Britta has moved in with Annie and Abed, and she's trying to convince Abed to make a movie about a party so she can have a party, and just the way that it ends when they're at the bar and Annie's like, "Did you learn something?" And she goes, "Yes, never go against Annie. Annie is God." And like the look between Elroy and Annie is so beautifully done. The hand episode where they go to buy the giant hand sculpture and gets stranded, and Abed has to do his whole mental flashbacks, and
they're trying to sell the hand.
They have to convince Abed that he's in a flashback to save them from the situation that they're in, and like,
well, because at first Jeff's trying to get him to be like, "This is not a TV show. There are not flashbacks," and then the realization, no, we need you to. You're in a flashback right now.
Yeah, I hope that when they do the movie, because it has to start off with like they have to show a picture of the hand sculpture. I hope that it's wearing the giant watch that guy had. I hope that it just like magically appears, like it was just gifted to the college.
I dare say in the movie they're going to find a way to get references to just every sort of intro.
Oh yeah, that movie is going to be full of references. Like that's going to be a movie that you're going to have to watch multiple times to catch all the references to.
Guys, the Darkest Timeline episode, where they're literally playing the game and like it goes to each of the timelines. Oh God, it's just so funny.
And then the realization that Abed has at the end, where it's like Jeff's just been trying to figure out a way to not have to go and do it.
But yeah, but this is one that for me there's a lot. One of my favorite ones is early on in season 1 with in which Abed's making the movie about his family and all that, and his whole dad relationship, and it's just so heartwarming. Just seeing like Abed's dad watching this movie, realizing how he's been treating Abed is like, it's just one of those ones. Some of my other favorite ones was when they go completely off the wall crazy, and because I mean, I like the Christmas episodes, whether it's the claymation Uncontrollable
Yes.
Christmas, and the other one in which they rip off Glee, which there was really no secret that Dan Harmon really did not like Glee. um, because I mean, like every chance he could get, he'll throw in a Glee reference about how it's not good and all that. But I like those episodes as well. And the G.I. Jeff one, I think was relatively fun, but yeah.
I mean, actually, all of the Christmas episodes that they did were amazing. The one where they tie up Malcolm because he's their history professor, and like they tie him up because they're trying to like convince him to give them an A as a group project, and they're trying to figure out who tanked their part of the essay or the group project. Like, it's so good.
You know what was another one of my favorites that just reminded me of is the Law and Order parody episode. I thought that was incredible because I love Law and Order, SVU specifically, and it was so great to just see how seriously we're taking it all. It was perfect.
The Baby Birds episode, like the Wi-Fi Baby Birds episode, the pottery episode, where they're constantly yelling. He's constantly yelling at them to not do the ghost. Like it had me.
You can't sing that song.
No, Unchained Melody. It was like that episode had me in tears. I was like loving it so much. It was this show is just pure wonderfulness. Like, yeah, it's just so good.
It's comfort food, the TV show.
And I've been talking about that pottery episode. I really liked how at the end, with the boating schools, like they did the whole Titanic thing, and the professor there just was like, no, just no.
Or the episode with Shirley and Troy where they're trying to, like, it's their PE. They have to, like, take a PE class, and they're trying to be coaches. And, like, Troy's like, well, I'm an athlete. And Shirley's like, well, I'm a mom. And, like, just schools him on how to be a coach. Like,
that's great because Greendale's the only school in the world, I think, that offers a class on how to be a PE teacher. Not PE, but how to be a PE teacher. And it involves locker room content.
Yeah.
It's so like I want to go to the honestly ladders. They have a class about ladders, like,
and history of ice cream.
God, what a great
if Greendale was a real school, I think I would have applied to it and probably would still be in college now.
And that's actually what happens at a lot of community colleges. They have those weird, ridiculous classes that you offer. Like, I remember taking like music industry 101, and like part of it was like you have to go to a concert a month, and I was like, this is the best fucking concert. This is the best class ever. Like, you had to like sit down and like listen to like albums in class of like comparing like live versions versus recorded. Like, it was amazing. I think it was like the easiest A I've ever had.
An entire class devoted to one of my favorite 80s sitcoms, Who's the Boss? Okay?
And they got the answer wrong. It's Mona. Don't they say Angela? Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to disagree with Abed, but it's Mona. It's Mona.
I mean, Tony's the best character, but he's not the boss. Not at all.
I mean, I kind of liked Jonathan. He was a fun character. The son.
He was fun. Yeah.
He was all right.
Now, come next week, we're doing Who's the Boss.
I'll try and cram it all before next week then, because I've never seen an episode of it.
What?
So good.
Find that show. It might be the best 80s sitcom theme song next to Family Size and Growing Pains.
Now that's a debate.
I mean, Growing Pains is the best.
Growing Pains is amazing.
Show me that smile.
That might have to be a recap episode. 80s theme songs. But anyway,
sorry, we're having a moment.
Ooh, as long as we got each other, we got the world right in our hands, baby, you and me. We gotta be lucky dreamers who never could dream it. As long as we keep on giving, we can pick anything that comes our way. Baby, rain or shine, all the time. We got each other, sharing the love. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what I.
That's so good.
But
All of
anyway, that does bring us to the end of this, because I mean, we could go on for ages talking about Community, really. And I think either I'm frozen or both Rachel and Matt are frozen. I'm back now anyway.
Matt, are you doing the bye 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 dance? Like,
But,
Sure.
but anyway,
Backstreet Boys for? Isn't that more
Backstreet
like?
Boys, yeah. Let
anyway,
Malcolm close out the show, Matt.
that does bring us to the end of the show. It's all right, Rachel. I'm used to Matt doing this. But, but yeah. I haven't decided next week. I might even do an episode on D&D. Because I can. But I haven't actually decided what my plans are yet. But Rachel, where can people find you online?
You can find me right. I can never get the situations right. Is it here? There we go. Right here. At RM Silverstrini on Twitter and Instagram. I have a fan page on Facebook. It's always still weird to me. I have to say that. I have a weekly show Thursday nights on my YouTube channel called Movies, Music, and Mayhem. Thank you. Next week, I actually just finished an episode last night with Adam Witt. It went 2 hours and 15 minutes, so it beat the record by about 45 minutes, I think. But we had a lot of fun. Next week, I have The War Father on as my guest, and that'll be at 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time. So subscribe, come join the fun. It's ridiculousness.
Me and
So,
Malcolm will be guests in the future, I'm sure.
of course.
That's all I do. I just
But
pitch
yeah,
myself on other people's shows. That's all I do here.
But Matt, where can people find you online?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Math on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube and WordPress, because yes, I still use WordPress, and right here as host of Second Look, the greatest show on Take 3 that no one watches, or at least that's what I tell my mom to convince her that I'm not wasting my life away on YouTube. And yeah, you can also find me pretty much every week on here, and at every New York event, pitching Rachel Silverstrini on why I should be her manager in the Showdown.
I mean,
if
we get rid of Grace,
me, Rachel, and Janine at the New York event over the summer, like, figured out a plan on how I could be their manager, and it was great.
did.
And then that was when Harloff decided he was going to change the Schmodown into what it is now.
He literally heard that pitch and was like, "No, I got a better idea. We have to have something different."
Yeah.
Oh, we love you, Maddie.
Thanks, Harloff.
I mean, I hear the Droogs need someone. You
That's
could
what I'm
manage
saying.
Brandon Hanna.
Brandon Hanna? Well, first order of business is drop him. Look, to quote the greatest manager in history, bottom line, he's a loser. Nah, he's a Mets fan. I would keep him, obviously. But he would be the court jester. He does happen.
He's ready to dance for you.
Nah, I love Hanna. I wouldn't drop him.
But anyway, you can find me hosting Late Night Take 3 every Friday night. Tomorrow night, you can find me on Rankum. We're doing the top 12 80s comedy movies. So there's a lot of good ones. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shapes up.
Number one should be.
But you can also find me over on the Full Metal page, in which I host Full Metal Classic. I also host Full Metal Random. Next week we're doing directors, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, but until next time, we're not on Zoom, but we'll Zoom on out of here.
Oh my god, you still need a new ending.